Alright, scholars, let's take a look at another word problem. This one looks like kind of a beast, but stick with me. It's really not that bad. Alright, so let's go slow. Alright, you go out for a run. After 2 miles, you get tired. So you walk the last 1 mile back home. Okay? So we've gone 3 miles altogether. Alright, in total, you exercise for 1/2 of an hour. So my time running and my time walking add up to 1/2 an hour. Okay, so if your running speed is 5 times your walking speed, find both of those speeds. Alright, so we can see that in this problem our variable is going to be a speed, and the running speed is 5 times the walking speed. So let me just go ahead and call the walking speed x. Alright, you can use whatever you want. You could use w or s, it doesn't really matter. Let's just use x. And then the running speed, well, that would just be 5x, because it's 5 times whatever the walking speed is. So in these types of problems, the hardest thing is just to set it up. And to set it up, you need to realize it's usually just one simple thing about what's happening in the problem. Okay? And in this problem, the thing to realize is that the time that you spend running plus the time you spent walking back, those times add up to 1/2 an hour. So I'm just going to say 1/2 hour. Alright, now, so this problem just comes down to writing an expression for the time running, and we'll use variables in that expression, but it's okay. Alright, and then we need to write an expression for the time walking, and then we'll set it equal to 1/2. And then we can solve the rational equation for whatever x is. Alright, so let's see what that might look like. Okay, now the key thing to realize is that we know we ran for 2 miles, and we have some speed of running, which is a variable, and we walked 1 mile at some speed, which is a variable. So how does this have to do with time? Alright, well, you might remember from class that the time it takes you to go somewhere or cover any distance is equal to the distance you cover, okay, divided by the speed at which you travel. Now, that might not seem intuitive at first, but if you think about a simple example, like, for example, this. Let's just say you want to walk 10 blocks, okay, and you can walk 2 blocks every minute. Okay, you can walk 2 blocks per minute. So how long would that take you? Alright, well, it seems really easy to you probably. You just go, oh, it'd take me 5 minutes. Okay, because 2 blocks takes me 1 minute. Well, in 10, there are 5 2's. Okay, so 2 blocks for 1 minute. So that means that 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. Alright, so in general, anytime you want to know how long it takes you to travel some distance, just divide the distance by the speed, and that will give you the time. Alright, so in this case, let's do the same thing. So the distance we covered running was 2 miles. Alright, now how long did it take us to run 2 miles? Well, we don't know exactly, but we do know that the speed was 5 times the walking speed. So let's just say that the speed is 5x. Okay, and that's miles per hour. So you can see, if you just look at these units here, dimensional analysis will show you that you're going to end up with units of hours, and that's what we want. Okay? Alright, so let's find an expression for the time walking. Alright, we walked for 1 mile, and that took us x hours. So we went 1 over x miles per hour. Alright, and lastly, we'll just set that equal to the 1/2, half an hour, because we know that, again, time running, time walking equals 1/2 an hour. Alright, so now we have a rational equation, and I'll rewrite it to make it look a little prettier here, and now we'll just solve this with the usual method. Okay, so looking at these denominators here, I can see that I need the common multiple that I'm going to multiply by every numerator. So 5x has to go into it, x has to go into it, and 2 has to go into it. So I find for myself that the lowest common denominator here is 10x. So this is the smallest quantity that all of these denominators can go into. So now what I do is I'm going to multiply each numerator by 10x, because this lets me clear the fractions. Alright, so on the left hand side we see a common factor of 5, so we'll cancel that out. We're left with a 2. X is canceled out, so I'm left with just 2 times 2, which is 4. So this gets really simple really fast, and that's why we do this method of multiplying by the LCD. Alright, now the next fraction, common factor of x. Those cancel out, leave me with 1 times 10, or 10. Okay, finally on the right hand side, I have a common factor of 2 that cancels out, and I'm left with 5 times x. Alright, so let's simplify it. 14 equals 5x, so x is equal to 14 over 5. Alright, well, what is this quantity? 14 over 5 what? Well, it's miles per hour. So 14 over 5 isn't a really reasonable way to express that speed. So you could just divide it on your calculator, or you could write it as a mixed fraction, but let me just divide it, and that's equal to 2.8 miles per hour. Alright, and what is that? X was our walking speed. Alright, so our walking speed is 2.8 miles per hour, and then to find our running speed we can just multiply that by 5, and we get 14 miles per hour for our running speed. So we're moving pretty quick, and that's how you do this problem.